These are the methods that we resort to keep the dogs inside. I should consider fueling up on the way. We have half a tank.
Quick note before we start. This is a real-time POV ride with no cuts. The battery, however, cuts out near the end, so the ride doesn't fully conclude on camera.
There's an electric chair. Just after 7:30. This trip will take us probably close to an hour. We're going to a government office in a city nearby, which is probably about 40 kilometers away.
Huh?
Oh, I'm talking to myself.
Why you're talking to yourself?
In case I want to use it for a video. I'm recording with my glasses.
Oh, sorry. You're still recording?
I'm testing out my glasses for recording if I'm talking. So the cat is out of the bag. Lorenza can hear me talking. So yeah. This is the realities of traffic in the province. You want to make a 40-kilometer trip, and it's going to take you about an hour. Back home in Canada, it might take you, half hour, 45 minutes. Well, it depends if you're going within a city or if you have access to expressways. But because of traffic like this, you have the tricycles, which I compare them to the old Model Ts with 3 wheels instead of 4. This is the advantage of being on a motorcycle. You can get around traffic, weave in and out. Lane cutting is accepted here, it's a way of life. If you're in a vehicle with the comforts of air conditioning and a quiet comfort, you're going to be subjected to traffic limitations. You can't get around them like you can in a motorcycle. Hello. Unleaded. I don't know if I can put 200, maybe 150, because I have half a tank right now. Try 150. Do you have small or? Okay. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Okay, that was 150 pesos for about half a tank. 150 pesos is almost $4 Canadian. The tricycles here in the Philippines, like this one here that we're crossing here, those tricycles there with the little sidecars where people sit in them, those are equivalent to taxis and Ubers in the first world countries. Like this guy here, he's a tricycle taxi. They can typically hold a speed of about maybe a maximum of 40 kilometers per hour. Some of them less. Their handling looks a little sketchy, I would say. But considering the load that they carry, they could have half a dozen people loaded into those little cabs and the back of the motorcycle. And those are only like 125cc engines that they have on those motorcycles. So it's really quite efficient when you consider the size of the engine. Contrast that with the Western world, where of course you don't see tricycles per se. You don't see an abundance of motorcycles with sidecars to transport people. And yet the motorcycle in the Western world is preferably or commonly over 500cc. People look for the romantic idea of riding a motorcycle with all that power, the Harley Davidson image. It's a little overkill when you consider the fact that here in the Philippines, a typical scooter motorcycle is usually no more than 150cc, and I could ride with my wife in the back comfortably, easily enough power to get around. Now, is the 150cc platform suitable for the Western world? Well, you could debate that, especially when you get onto the highways and expressways where speeds are in excess of your 60 kilometers an hour. So when you're talking 80 kilometers an hour and up, you're in a more aggressive traffic environment, and you can appreciate a heavier motorcycle. Oftentimes you'll see people with bikes or vehicles fully capable of traveling at higher speeds here in the Philippines, yet the people navigating them are in no hurry. They're not they're not tempted by speed. They just go at a comfortable pace. We're just approaching the town here. Traffic changes up here. We're going to take a left up here, across the bridge, go into the main urban center of Bayambang. They call the downtown areas of any municipality, they call that Bayan. So we're going to go through the heart of the Bayan here in Bayambang. And I would say, in the context of what you'll see today, Bayambang will not be quite as, we'll say, complicated to get through as some of the other areas. See how that happened? No stop sign, no lights. In the first world countries where infrastructure provides traffic lights and hard rules, you're talking about a stop and go environment. You stop when you're supposed to, you go when you're allowed to go, and you're expected to go. In the Philippines, it's I was going to say, merge and flow environment. Everything's fluid. People just kind of move in and out, and there's more of a tolerance for allowing vehicles to come in and merge. Now here you see the advantage of being on a motorcycle. Even the tricycles, you get around the four-wheel vehicles. So you're accessing the quote-unquote walkways, curbs, shoulders of the road. And here, now other motorcycles are competing with me. So I not only have the challenge of navigating my way through this, I also have to deal with other vehicles going at their own pace. Some of them could pass me, some of them could hold me up. I also have the added challenge of balancing my motorcycle with Lorenzo sitting behind me. And people standing in the way. But mind you, we're just, I guess you could argue that that person is not standing in the way. We're the ones invading his space. We can go either way. And there you have a tour bus overtaking the shoulder area to make a stop. So as you can see, everything's fluid. It's not like here's the rule that applies to every situation. This is more like, hey, these are the vehicles here, these are how quickly they want to move it, what direction, and we all accommodate. It's kind of like, well, we all have a right of way. And who is going to take that right of way first? Okay. Squeeze moves in here, cut this lane, and accelerate out of it. There we go. So that was the main Bayan here in Bayambang. Now we're just heading north into the outskirts. Traffic eases up a little bit, and of course will flow a little quicker. Now here we're doing about 30 kilometers an hour with a couple of tricycles in front of us. That's 3 tricycles. So there you see. Now this is the advantage of the motorcycle. I can get around them either through passing in the oncoming lane or safely without risking a collision, or going in the shoulder. Now the shoulder here is open for the most part, but then you have vehicles that take up the area. So you always have to be aware of what's further ahead before you make your decision. The actual construction of this road, where you have 2 lanes in the middle and then you have broad shoulders on either side, this is only something that's recent within the last half decade. Prior to it, the road was only these 2 lanes, and then they added the shoulders, and there you see a pole in the middle of the lane, and here you see a pole in the middle of the lane. There's some areas where you actually see trees where they didn't bother taking the tree down. So perhaps the goal was that you would add the extra lanes, and the slower traffic such as the tricycles and the electric chairs would move off to those lanes, but in reality they don't. They will stay in these middle lanes and force you to get around them. And I can understand their dilemma. Like, look at that tree. What's the point of them navigating their regular route in those lanes when they have all those obstructions? Okay, here's the other challenge I have, is this truck in front of me. I'd like to get around them because I can't see what's ahead. It seems like this truck is one that likes to keep a faster pace. So right now we're doing just over 50 kilometers per hour. It's not too bad. I can live with it. If he's going a lot slower, then that means one of 2 things. One, the truck is not capable of maintaining that speed, where either mechanically or the driver is just that type of a driver, or in this case there's a slow traffic in front of them, like a tricycle. So then if I want to get around that slow vehicle, I really have to be aware of what might be ahead of him. Could be a whole line of tricycles. I would have to move in and out of that shoulder lane to get a better angle to see, and then hopefully with enough space ahead, I just make a safe overtake. Now there I see a tricycle in front of him, and I'm afraid that the oncoming traffic is going to be too busy. And there I see a stop check here, school zone. So there's no way of getting around. And I see traffic up ahead, so it's not much of a rush. The traffic is moving pretty quickly today. Now, I have motorcycles all around me. It's like being amongst the Hells Angels right now. These guys move around. And that's another thing that you have to be aware of is who might be behind you, because some cyclists are very aggressive and will come up to you quickly from behind. So if you're not paying attention to what's in your mirror, you'll be surprised when they just zip by you. Personally, when I go past another vehicle, especially a tricycle or a motorcycle, and I know I'm coming at them at a much higher pace than what they're doing, I'll usually give a courtesy beep just to let them know that I'm coming by, because a beep in the Philippines is not like, hey asshole, it's more of like, excuse me, I'm coming by, don't make me hit you. There's another thing there, that bicycle just stuck his nose right out into the lane. You have to be aware of vehicles potentially coming in, because it often seems, now there's a bicycle, motorcycle that just came by without me knowing. For a while there, when I was learning to navigate on a motorcycle here, I was constantly beeping when I would pass traffic, and then Lorenza was getting upset. She said, you're going to upset these people. And like I would say, is like, hey, whether they get upset or not, offended, is really not my concern. What I'm concerned about is safety. It's nothing personal. It's just like, if I toot my horn, it's just to let you know that I'm coming by. It's just a heads up. This guy is moving over anyway. It's not a big deal. Now, okay. Sometimes, and this happens on occasion, before I had this discussion, I want to get past this truck. Coming around a corner where I don't see fully what's ahead. See there? It would have been a mistake to try and pass him there with that tree. I didn't know that tree was there. And now there's people ahead. Okay, so I'm going to stay behind this truck right now. He's moving anyway. Alright, here is something that really concerns me that happens. Here in the Philippines, is when you're driving along and then someone decides to enter the traffic lane, turn onto the road and start driving. There's a quick, really fast bike. It's a good thing he's got a loud muffler. I can pick up on him. And then there's a couple more behind him. These guys are aggressive. They've got a lot more testosterone going with them, driving them right now. Not only in the tank. Okay, people who merge into traffic. Okay, like take this car here on the right, for instance. Look at the speed he's going. What they'll do is they'll turn into traffic. They won't turn into traffic and merge. They will creep into traffic and merge. And then they will not accelerate. They'll just continue going at that driveway speed and simply not accelerate. And this could happen. This could cause you to have to, aggressively hit the brakes and take inventory of everything around you. And needless to say, raise your blood pressure. This is absolutely something that you could not get away with in first world countries. If you cut in the traffic, regardless of how fast the traffic is, they could be going over the speed limit, going at unsafe speeds. If you cut in front of them and cause that vehicle to get into an accident, then you're probably going to be liable for it. But here, it's just the thing. People will merge into traffic regardless of the capability of the vehicle that you're driving. They could easily accelerate. Sometimes it happens with the tricycles, where you know that they don't have the ability to accelerate. They'll get into the lane anyway. And invariably, they're going to slow down the flow of traffic. Look at this guy. He's doing the same thing to exit, and this is common too. Here, let me get around this guy once and for all. They do the same thing on the exit. They slow down to driveway speed, holding up a traffic lane before they do their exit. Sometimes there's a narrow exit where, you know what, they have to take that measure, but other times it just seems a little unnecessary, overkill. We all appreciate safety over now there's a guy, he knew what was coming. Now these guys here, alright, they're okay. If they don't have mirrors, I will almost always give a little toot. It's common to see, especially the younger generation, getting on motorcycles, and they won't have mirrors. If it's an ego thing, or they don't like to have flashing lights from behind glaring in their eyes, I don't know, but for all of the rules of the road here in the Philippines, mirrors is not something that is enforced. Here, I'll get around this guy on the shoulder. There's a bike behind me too. some heavier traffic. We're coming up on Malasiqui. So I got this bike behind me. He's just hanging right there. He's not moving past me. Oh, and this car decides to go. As they say in the Philippines, ay nako. Now look at this car. Look at this car. Taking his time. Taking his time. Taking his time. Taking his time. Creeping along. Creeping along. Hey, we all appreciate safety, but traffic seems a little light here approaching Malasiqui. There's a car creeping in the traffic. Let me get around them. We got obstacles here. That's the farm tricycles. The sidecars are basically cargo units where they can bring their livestock or goods as well as passengers. Okay, right up here we have a mandatory left turn, and as you can see, it's merge and flow. When I was saying merge and flow earlier, what I meant to say was, instead of stop and go, it's yield and merge. That was the term I was looking for, so correction on that. So this is a detour. They've done this here in Malasiqui to ease the traffic on their main Bayambang road. So we're forced to go up to the main plaza here. It's a little tour of the plaza area. Right next to a church. Here's a jeepney taking up the spot. Those are people going to school. I guess he's going to take that lane. Traffic is light here today. Mind you, it's only like 8 o'clock in the morning. There's some food stands. We'll see if there's a traffic officer up here at the intersection. Now we come to a main intersection where there's the road. This straight on this road here bends and goes back down to where we came from. This road here on the left at this intersection goes north. So that's what we have to do. So we're going to go north. Our destination today is Dagupan, which is the capital of the province of Pangasinan. We have two options. Continue straight on this road, which will go in a slight northwest direction. It will take us through some burial areas, and then to Calashao. Calashao is like a suburb of Dagupan. So you're going through the bayan of Calashao into Dagupan. You save about 3 kilometers doing it that way. Or a couple of kilometers up here, I take a detour, I take a right, go north into the bayan of Santa Barbara, then turn west and go straight into the Dagupan. Normally that's what I like to do. I'm tempted to just go straight through Calashao because traffic is a little light right now. But then again, I don't like going through the rural area before Calashao because it's only 2-lane, no shoulders, and it's difficult to get around the tricycles. This is the advantage of being close to bayans with the shoulder. You have to be careful getting past these tricycles because, especially on the right, because they really have no open vision with their sidecars there. It's like a blind spot. So here is this tricycle right in front of us. This is basically a farm tricycle. Someone who has his own utility. It's like carrying a trailer on it with a vehicle, or like a pickup truck. That sidecar is good for supplies, livestock, anything related to his farming needs, and he can also bring his relatives on there. Here. You have to be careful because along all of these roads you have schools and community centers, and often you'll have those little chicanes. Sometimes they're checkpoints where the police will want to they'll want to randomly check for registrations and that sort of thing. Now here I come up to, just beyond this bridge, I come up to where I decide whether to go straight, go into Calashao, to Dagupan, or if I take a right to Santa Barbara. And what? What? What do you say? Santa Barbara? Calashao? Oh no. Okay, I'm going to Santa Barbara. Oh no. This is the nice thing about being on a motorcycle. You can take your legal lanes, turns. No, that truck was too much of a challenge. Now I forget what time we left. I don't know if what kind of time it's going to be to the final destination here. Let me move up here. Okay, that was easy. You know, even on a super hot day, when you get on a bike and you pick up a little bit of speed, you get that wind, it can be fairly comfortable. Today is cooler, like, well, we're in the morning here, so the midday sun is not heated up the air very much, and sometimes that brings that humidity. I find it interesting whenever I see moto vlogs of trips through the Philippines, and you got the drivers, or well, I would say the riders, dressed in gloves, leathers, for safety. But then I think, well, all the times that I've ridden here in this climate, I've never felt the need to cover myself up. Unlike Canada. Okay, here we go. See back there, I don't know if you noticed or not, but going over that bridge, the middle lanes were paved over above the shoulders. So for me to go from the shoulder to that middle lane, I had to hop up about a couple of inches. So as we came off the bridge, I saw that, okay, well, everything evened out afterwards. So I timed my merge accordingly. Not that I wouldn't have been able to do it successfully, but you're just avoiding that potential hazard, especially with a passenger on the back. And here you have to become more aware of the challenges ahead of you. If you want to get around traffic, then you got to know that, well, you have enough room in front of you to do it in either the oncoming lane or the shoulder. Now this guy's going really slow. Oh, and there's a dog. Not cool. Okay, get around this side. And the risk there too is you're behind a vehicle for a few seconds. You want to get around them. You're looking for a way, and at the same time, you don't realize that traffic could be coming up behind you, and you have to make a split-second decision to go. And if you're not aware that something is behind you making that same decision, that's a potential hazard. Now here we have a vehicle who crept into the lane and is not accelerating. Get around them. This is key. It's a big part of prevention. Being aware of what's happening at all times. Now here there's no point in getting around this tricycle because it's just the buy-in here straight ahead. Remember when we were going through Bayambang and the main buy-in road provided that extra shoulder space. Here in Santa Barbara you don't have that luxury. Everything's tighter. So passing opportunities are limited. It seems pretty congested here this morning. Usually it flows though. Santa Barbara has a nice little plaza here. Buy-in here is not super big. We're just a short ways away from coming up to a junction, which we have a choice of going left towards the Gupon or east to go to Urdaneta. Most of the time it's yield and merge. Oh, here he's letting us go. That was quick. looks a little congested today, doesn't it?